Hi, Luke.
Hi.
Thanks for meeting me again.
You're welcome.
So this is our third session, and before we start, I just want to remind you that there is confidentiality between us, but you know that this is being uploaded to YouTube, and my partner will look at it, and my professor will look at it for grading. But normally when you have these kind of counseling sessions, there is confidentiality, and unless you think somebody's being harmed or you might harm yourself, or I just want to remind you of that up front. But before we begin, let's talk about our last two sessions, and this is our final session together, our third session. The first session, we talked for a while, and then kind of identified you were having a problem with what was your issue.
For the first session, I was having trouble with getting my homework done.
Okay, so what goal did you set after that first session?
To get my homework done 3 days a week at least.
Okay, and it worked well. You went from a B to an A- in your class.
Yeah, math, yeah.
You felt like your parents were happier. What else was another positive result from that goal setting?
I just learned a lot. I've been learning a lot more now because I know what to do in class.
Okay, so you weren't playing catch up in class. You were actually involved, and you could understand it, and it was an easier transition to that next night's homework.
Yes.
Okay, and then last week you said you wanted to talk about what again?
Like how to graduate. How do I graduate high school and how to get to college and stuff like that.
Okay, so some more goal setting. And I gave you the task of going to and you live in a small town, so there's only one high school that you could, what's your name of your high school?
Pierce High School.
Pierce High School. And there's only one website, and so it made it kind of easy, and I had you go to that website and look for a couple things. Do you remember what I asked you to look for?
The A through G requirements and how many advanced placement classes our high school offers.
Okay, so A through G requirements, good. And how many AP classes that your high school, do you know the size of your high school?
It's probably 400 people, maybe.
400 students, so it's a fairly small,
it's
small high school. Okay, so you wanted to talk about goal setting. I wrote some stuff for last time, but I want to talk about it again. So for next year, so when you're a freshman, so like a 1-year goal. And then you wanted to talk about where you wanted to be at the end of high school going into college. So like a 4-year goal. And then maybe a third goal is being like where you wanted to attend college. Okay, I'm going to ask you a really hard question. So we're talking, that's a span of college is 4 years, high school is 4 years, we're half year since you're in 8th grade. So that's almost 9 years when you graduate from college. So how old are you again?
12. Oh, 13, yeah, 13.
Oh, I thought you were 14.
Oh, 14, yeah, I mean 14, yeah.
Okay, so in 9 years you'll be how old? I don't know, you couldn't remember how old you were.
9, I'll be 23?
23. Good thing we're studying that math. Okay, 23 years old. So this is a hard question. Where do you see yourself at 23? Do you have an idea? Like if you could be anything you wanted to be with any kind of degree you wanted to have and live anywhere you wanted to live, what would your ultimate...
I probably want to stay in Arbuckle and farm.
Okay, so you want to stay where you are, Arbuckle, and you want to farm.
Yes.
And farm what specifically? Do you know?
Almonds.
Okay. Farm almonds. The rest of the world would probably say almonds.
Yeah, but almonds.
Okay, and that's been... Why did you pick that?
It's been in our family for generations.
So you come from a farming family generationally. Do you know what generation you are in the farming family?
No.
No? Okay. Did your grandfather farm? Did his father farm?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so that's great-grandfather, grandfather, and your dad does as well?
Yes.
So you'd be at least 4th generation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. It's a long time. Okay, so 4th generation. So you live in the small town you live in now, and you would probably farm like your dad does. Okay, that's great. That's a great goal so you know where you want to go. Okay, so let's talk about what you found out from your school's website. Let's start with A through G. So do you know what A through G, what that really means?
It means what do you have to do in order to graduate high school?
Well, it's more than that. So it's,
and get into UCs and universities.
Okay, that's very good. So A through G requirements are what colleges want you to have, what curriculum within the high school they want you to meet in order to be able to apply to their schools. So there's 3 different types of schools. There's private schools, there's public schools, and within the public school system, There's some UCs, which is like University of California, which we have one near here, which is Davis.
UC Merced.
And UC Merced. And then there's state schools. Do you know a state school near us? There's two that are fairly near.
Chico State?
Chico State is one.
Sac State.
And Sac State is another. So those are all different kind of systems. There's private schools, public schools, and so you said you have a brother that goes to school
At Duke.
At Duke, and so that's a private institution.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said you had a sister that goes to school at
Cal Poly.
Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo, which is a state school within California. But both of them had to adhere to the A through G requirements. So what did you find out with your A through G requirements?
I printed it out here. And I have to take 2 years of history, 4 years of English, at least 3 years of math, at least 2 years of science, but you should take 3 years, and
Okay.
then two other languages besides English, and visual and performing arts. You have to take at least 1 year. In college, preparatory electives at least 1 year.
Okay, and so underneath your A through G, which is really nice because you got it off your school website, it lists the classes that your school offers within that A through G. Because they'll be different. Like if you looked at a really big high school, they might have some different classes within that A through G. So let's just take, so your 4 years, so this is where you know you want to be in 4 years. You want to have all these classes taken. So let's just say you wanted a 1 year goal. So let's look at your freshman year. So your freshman year, what math would you be taking your freshman year?
High school math 2.
Okay, so high school math 2. I'll write this down and I can send it with you. High school math 2. What English would you be taking?
Probably English 9.
Okay, English 9. And do you know with your history, social science, your freshman year that you would be taking? Because you might not know that these are upper like 11th and 12th grade classes where a lot of times your freshman year you'll take like life choices or different things, or geography. You'll probably take geography your freshman year. So you have 3 classes there: geography, English, and math 2. Lab science, it says 2 years required for A through G, but they recommend 3. A lot of schools, if you want to go to a really upper end school, they'll even recommend that you have 4. So a lot of kids go into high school taking the biology, or they go into taking ag biology, which are both lab sciences that would meet 1 year. So you said you kind of had an ag type of background, right? So you might take biology or ag biology. You could decide that. So, but you have 1 year of science there, a lab science, and then Spanish. Also, that's the only foreign language your school offers. They offer Spanish 1 through 4, and then AP Spanish as well. So 2 years of that. But I thought you told me, are you taking?
I'm taking Spanish right now as an 8th grader.
Okay, you're taking Spanish 1 as an 8th grader. So you would go into high school taking Spanish 2. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And then a lot of kids go in, they take more Spanish than that. Your visual performing arts, only 1 year required in the A through G. That could be drama, floral design. They only offer 4, art or art 2. So you may take one of those your freshman year. You might not, because it's only 1 year. You could kind of decide what you wanted to do. And then you have some electives that you could take: psychology, food science, those kind of things. So you know for sure within your freshman year that you'd want to take math, English 9, geography, science, and Spanish 2. That's a pretty full load. Okay. So that's what your A through G looks like. And then you also said that you looked on your high school website and they talked about what advanced placement classes your high school offered. Do you know what those are?
They have AP Government, AP History, AP Psychology. They have Statistics, Calculus, Spanish, English, English Literature, and Comprehension.
Okay. So they offer 9 AP classes, which is great for a small school. Do you know what an AP class is, what AP stands for?
Advanced Placement.
Advanced Placement. And do you know what that does for you to have an AP class?
It doesn't like make your GPA above 4.0.
Very good. Right. So there's unweighted GPAs and there's weighted GPAs. And a weighted GPA would include an advanced placement. So an A, do you know how much in a GPA like an A is worth? Like
It's like a point.
It's an A is worth 4 points, but an APA is worth 5. An APB is worth 4, so it gives you a whole extra point in your GPA. But the other nice thing that AP classes do for you, do you know what other good thing that they can do for you?
Colleges like them better.
Yeah, colleges really like them. And if you take an AP test at the end of the year and you pass it, you can actually get college credit, a lot of college credit for that AP class. It's like taking a year of a college class. So you might not have to take like your first year of college English or your first year of college math. You can go straight to the next year, so you can save a lot of money. It helps your GPA. They're very, very tough classes though, because they are like being taught at a college level. So they're difficult classes, and a lot of those you'll see those like not in your freshman year, your sophomore, junior, and senior year, and those really help you quite a bit. And another thing you said that you got from your school website was about dual enrollment. Do you know? I didn't know that your school offered that. Did you know
it's like dual enrollment. I figured out was like, does it give you college credit?
It gives you college credit, usually dual enrollment, and so it's with your local community college, which is the Woodland Community College. And what classes are dual enrollment classes? Do you know?
Plant science, computer applications, life choices, human biology, and agribusiness.
Okay, so a lot of those type of vocational classes are dual enrollment classes, and those can go on your transcripts and give you college credit as well. So you can actually, when you graduate from high school, some people have a lot of credits towards high school. So that's great. Your high school offers a lot. That's a lot to think about during your first year. So I also looked on your website for you too, and they had a really great brochure called A College Guide for Students, and it's long. It's like 71 pages long. But in here, I thought, okay, so we've talked a little bit about your first year goal, and then your 4-year goal. So at the end of your fourth year, you know some classes that you want to take, and you talked about extracurricular type of things too. Are there still all the sports, extracurricular sports?
Yes.
And then what about outside of sports in the classroom? You said maybe FFA?
Yeah, FFA.
Okay. And so you have some extras. You're going to be really busy. What I really liked, and you can look at this too for your college website, is that they talked about when you're trying to think about colleges, and from what you've said, if you have an ag background, you're going to maybe look at colleges that offer an ag-related major. Do you know of any colleges that offer an ag-related major?
Fresno State.
Fresno State definitely does, yep.
Probably Cal Poly.
Cal Poly does as well. Chico State. And then there's private schools too. There's a lot of private schools, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, other schools in different parts of the country. And there's even an Ivy League school that offers ag, a whole ag program. Do you know which one that is? Cornell. And that's in Ithaca, New York, so that's pretty cold, I would imagine, this time of year. But so you've got lots of options with ag schools. You could go private, public, all different across the board. So, but this I thought was a really good question that they asked you within your counselor's own website about getting to know yourself and what your goals were and who you were. So we talked about your goals, where you want to be, your activities, your interests. But it also asks really good questions about your personality, and I thought I'd ask you some of those too. It's like one of the questions is about the world around you, and what a good question is, how are you most like your parents, and how are you most unlike your parents?
I'm most like unlike my parents because I probably was still a lot taller than them at my age.
Okay.
And I grew up in a lot different culture. They probably didn't listen to very much like rap music or anything like that.
Okay.
And I'm same from parents because they have a pretty good attitude. I do too.
Okay. And some other questions they ask you too are like, when and where do you feel your best?
Oh, at my house.
At your home? Okay. And are there any local or global issues that are important to you, or anything that you guys talk about?
Probably I don't really like racism that much.
Okay.
Global warming.
Okay, so you do talk, so some of those things do interest you. There's other great questions here, like about your personality, and one that I really liked is, what do you expect from yourself?
I expect to go to a pretty nice college and get a good education.
Okay.